Welcome to Honeybee Yoga Studio, and thanks so much for joining me with another Stretch and Restore, a calm flow that we can do at nighttime, maybe even before bed. We'll move really slow and really gentle, and I encourage you to hang out in our final restorative posture for as long as feels good for you. When I teach restorative, we often hold these postures for up to 15 minutes, so don't be shy. Let's grab a cushion, maybe a couple pillows, a towel or blanket to support our practice this evening. And let's also grab something we can use as a strap, maybe a belt or a tie or an extra long towel. We'll find ourselves getting comfortable in a gentle seated position, whatever speaks to us this evening. Maybe enjoy a few shoulder rolls before we feel ourselves inviting stillness into our body. As we inhale, we feel the crown of our head lift up towards the ceiling. As we exhale, we feel our shoulders melt away from our ears. Let's start to follow the flow of our breath in and out. Not making any changes, just listening to what our body has to say. Allow your breath to guide your movement for the rest of our time together this evening, moving as slowly or as energetically as your body's asking for. We'll start to let those fingertips come down by our sides, and as we inhale, we'll start to reach them wide and tall up towards the ceiling. Our exhale bends our elbows and has our arms come into cactus arms. We'll inhale those elbows and hands together in front, and then exhale our fingertips back to the earth. We're going to follow this flow of opening through our chest and our shoulders for maybe 2 or 3 more breaths at your own pace. Again, we inhale our fingertips tall to the sky. We exhale, bend at the elbows, nice and wide before we inhale our hands, our forearms together, and then bring those fingertips back to the earth. Let's do that one more time. Big inhale, exhale, cactus arms. Inhale, connecting those forearms together, and then exhale our hands by our sides. Enjoy a couple breaths, and when you feel ready, we'll let our right hand press into the earth beside our right hip, and we'll inhale that left hand to reach tall above us. As your shoulder allows, we'll reach that left hand to the right side. Feel that left hip get nice and heavy into the earth beneath you, and feel space come through your left side body. Enjoy 1 or 2 more breaths here. Eventually, one of your exhales will bring you back through neutral. Feel that left hand make its way into the earth somewhere beside your left hip, and we'll reach tall with our right hand. Extending as far as feels good for that shoulder, and we'll start to invite space into our right side body. Feeling that flow of your breath. And eventually we'll allow our exhale to guide that right hand back beside our right hip. We're going to do a few wrist exercises here. So we're simply going to rotate our wrists in one direction and then rotate them a few rounds in the opposite direction. We're going to clasp our hands together and roll them in one direction and then the opposite direction. We'll pay attention to which thumb is on top because we're going to unclasp and then clasp again with the opposite thumb on top and do a few more rolls here. So we're really just trying to kind of move our wrists in every direction, spend lots of time on our phones. let's reach our hands away from us and we'll begin to stretch our fingertips up towards the sky and then kind of pulling them under towards ourselves. You can use your opposite hand to gently, keyword gently, apply some pressure to increase the stretch, but only going as far as feels okay. A gentle stretch through your wrists is great. A gentle stretch anywhere is fantastic, but if you ever feel any pinching, any pain, back off immediately. Let's bring the love up into our shoulders. So let's reach for our strap or whatever we're using as our strap so that it's nice and handy. Maybe we can lay it over top of our thighs, and we'll begin our shoulder work with a few gentle rotations. So shrugging our shoulders up towards our ears and then allowing them to melt away, moving in as gentle or dramatic as circles as feels good for your body. After a couple more breaths, we will grab a hold of our strap, whatever we're using as our strap. We'll hold that strap about shoulder width apart, and we'll extend our arms long in front of us. And holding that strap tight, we'll start to reach our hands up to the sky, going as tall as feels good, and then we'll exhale those hands back to our knees. We'll increase the distance between our hands just a little bit, and then we'll reach our hands tall again. We'll continue increasing the distance between our hands for several more breaths. Take lots of time here. You might feel your hands start to maybe reach behind you a little bit as you get your hands further and further apart on your strap. Never pushing or pulling really, just letting gravity do the work here and feeling lots of space come through those shoulders. You can see here my hands have fallen all the way to the earth behind me because I have enough distance in my strap for my shoulders to rotate that much. You may or may not come to this point. Every shoulder is different, even on your own body. One shoulder might be very different than the other. So we're just moving gently and slowly and allowing our shoulders to move in ways that they might not normally move. You can see here that I'm reaching my hands tall and then folding to one side, and then eventually I'm folding to the opposite side. Take a few breaths to do whatever organic movements might feel good for you, that your body might be asking for, your shoulders might be asking for. Never rush your practice, and especially at the end of the day with your shoulders, if you spend a lot of time at a keyboard or at a desk or on your phone, gotta give those shoulders some love. So eventually, when those shoulders have had enough attention, we'll allow ourselves to meet in a child's posture. So maybe coming through tabletop, we'll feel our big toes come to kiss behind us, our knees go nice and wide, and we'll begin to melt towards the earth. So you can see that tailbone is tucked behind us. It's really feeling heavy. I'm going to press into my left hand, and I'm going to reach my right hand underneath my left arm. If it's for me, while that right hand reaches towards 9 o'clock, I'm going to tuck my left arm to bend at the elbow and come to my low spine. Wherever we are, let's take one more big breath in our version of thread the needle. And then we'll eventually let that left hand press back into the earth so we can release that right arm. We'll take a few breaths through neutral, and when we're feeling ready, this time we'll press into our right hand. We'll reach that left arm underneath our right, and as that left arm reaches towards 3 o'clock, maybe our right hand comes to rest at our low spine after we bend at our elbow. Feeling long breaths, heavy hips, space through those shoulders, especially that left shoulder. And then when you're feeling ready, that right hand will come back to the earth. We'll release our left hand to reach forward. Enjoying a neutral child's and a hello from Oliver. We'll start to bring our gaze forward towards our hands. We'll pull our body through so we come onto our bellies. We'll walk those fingertips forward until our elbows come underneath our shoulders. We feel that chest lift, and we'll meet in Sphinx. Staying in Sphinx, or inviting our arms to lengthen and coming into whatever version of Cobra with long arms feels good to us. So we'll be feeling an opening in that low spine through our chest. So let's only go as far as feels good for us. Those shoulders melt away from our ears. Our chest feels open. We're taking long breaths. Eventually, we'll all meet together back in Sphinx. Wherever we've traveled to, we'll feel those elbows come under our shoulders. Let's bend into our right knee and reach back with that right hand towards our right foot. So we're coming into this supported half bow. We'll take several breaths here before we move on to the opposite side. And when you do release that foot, we're moving slow and controlled, eventually reaching back with our left hand towards our left foot, inviting space through that hip flexor, before again slowly releasing that left foot, bringing our left forearm back to the earth. So we're going to move into whichever version of bow speaks to you this evening. You can come back on each side one by one, or as I'm doing here, I'm reaching back with both hands to both of my feet at the same time. As I do so, I'm enjoying long breaths. As you feel your breaths, maybe you can also feel yourself beginning to rock just a little bit as we massage those intestines, our belly, our abdomen. Enjoying, again, whatever version of bow speaks to you, and always moving slow and controlled when we release our feet and bring our bodies back to the earth. Let's glide those hands underneath our shoulders, lift through tabletop. And we're going to come into our restorative posture for the evening. So again, once you get set up in this posture, after I give a little bit of a guided meditation, it might feel good to hang out here for a really long time. So feel free to do that. You can see I have my big bolster here. Maybe this is a couple pillows rolled up. Maybe it's a cushion from your couch. I have my knees wide towards the base of the bolster. My big toes are coming close together, just like in child's. And as I'm exhaling, I'm folding at my hips, allowing my belly, my chest to come to rest on the bolster. My arms are reaching tall in front of me, maybe wide. And I'm allowing myself to settle onto one cheek. In my supported child, I can feel the majority of my weight is coming onto whatever's beneath my belly and chest, and I do not feel any strain in my hips or in my knees. Let's let our awareness come back to our breath. Feel that breath as it comes into your mouth, through your nose, travels down your throat. And feel your chest and your belly start to expand into the support beneath you. As you exhale, feel that air deflate and you release into your pillow, your cushion. Follow that next inhale. And this time, when your belly and your chest are expanding, begin to feel your back body expanding as well. As your belly and chest press into those supports and you feel that resistance, feel your back body begin to open. Feel those shoulder blades melt away from your spine. Feel space come between every rib. And really enjoy that full breath. Really take over your entire torso, not just your chest, your belly, but your abdomen, your back body, your low spine. Feel everything expand with breath, and then allow yourself to be supported by the earth, by your supports beneath you as you exhale. If you're resting on one cheek, bring the opposite cheek to rest. Enjoy a few more breaths here. Again, feeling all of that space that you've created. We'll eventually start to invite some movement into our fingertips, into our toes. We'll start to slide those hands back underneath our shoulders so we can press our arms long and come into a gentle kneeling posture. For the next several breaths, we're going to move as slow and steady as feels good for us. There's no rush to come back to reality. So maybe reclining back with our knees bent, the soles of our feet in the earth, letting our knees windshield washer from side to side. If there's any other movements here that feel really good for you or your body's asking for, please take those movements, take those shapes. This is your practice. And then when you feel ready to, we will close our time together with a couple breaths. On one of our next inhales, we'll feel our fingertips reach up to the sky. As we exhale, we'll bend at our elbows, coming back to our cactus arms. Inhaling our hands, forearms together, before exhaling our fingertips back by our sides. Inhaling those hands high, exhaling our elbows wide. Inhaling forearms together, exhaling fingertips to the floor. One final time, let's inhale those fingertips tall, exhale our elbows wide. And this time, as our hands and our forearms come together, let's melt those hands down to our heart, bringing a gentle nod into our head. We'll take a bow for ourselves and a bow for our beautiful practice together. Thank you again so much for joining me this evening. I hope you're ready to have a really blissful sleep, a really long, deep sleep. If you aren't already, I would love to have you as a subscriber. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and leave me a comment below, maybe something you'd like to see next time. See you guys next time.